People's National Party PNP leader Mark Golding has been commended by two political commentators for presenting an authentic speech that resonated with Jamaicans at the party's annual conference yesterday. Mr. Golding spoke on topics such as constitutional reform, crime, education and tourism. He outlined ambitious plans for the country to include increasing the income tax threshold to $3 million, making solar panels more affordable for regular Jamaicans, and changing Jamaica's tourism model to ensure greater benefits for the island. Reacting to the opposition leader's speech, political analyst Linton Gordon said he addressed critical matters that are on the minds of Jamaicans. Meantime, political commentator Kevin O'Brien Chang noted that Mr. Golding lived up to the expectations of his supporters. He said while most of the plans announced by Mr. Golding will be welcomed, the opposition leader's stance on the constitutional reform process could be controversial. Opposition leader Mark Golding says the People's National Party has no interest in keeping the Privy Council as Jamaica's final court as the country transitions into a republic. Addressing the PNP's 85th annual conference in Kingston yesterday, Mr. Golding said Jamaica must not squander the opportunity of constitutional reform that is now taking place. He said Jamaica must complete the decolonization process. Mr. Golding said for this to be done, the UK Privy Council must be replaced by the Caribbean Court of Justice. He said one cannot be done without the other. People's National Party councillor Keisha Lewis has called on the government to act decisively to bring those responsible for the death of Councillor Ainsley Parkins to justice. Parkins, who was the councillor for the South Borough Division in Portmore St. Catherine, was shot and killed on July 20 as he worked in his division. Speaking at the PNP's 85th annual conference in Kingston yesterday, Ms. Lewis, who is Secretary of the National Councillors Caucus of the PNP, also called on government to do more to stem crime across the nation. She said crime must be brought under control so that Jamaicans feel safe in their country. In other news, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says new programs will be implemented to help low-income earners access land at cheaper prices and to renew old informal settlements. Speaking at the JLP Central Executive meeting in Ocheria, St. Anne yesterday, he said this is to address the ongoing issue of squatting that exists across Jamaica. Prime Minister said a major concern is on affordable housing. Mr. Holness added that because of the state of old informal settlements, it's hard to regularize persons. He said, however, that his administration remains committed to improving the conditions. The country's parish courts are officially backlog-free. Chief Justice Brian Sykes made the disclosure during this morning's swearing-in ceremony for appeal judges, puisne judges, and masters in chambers. Chief Justice Sykes noted that this achievement comes 2 years ahead of schedule, an attainment he said should be viewed with great pride. He explained that the active caseload for the parish courts is below 3%, which is better than international requirements. He explained further that with most cases being cleared up within 12 months, a revision of the time standard will be done to reduce it to 9 months. Justice Sykes said by moving the time standard to 9 months, Jamaica will be even closer to the standards of countries associated with the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. The OECD is an intergovernmental organization with 38 member countries founded in 1961 to stimulate economic progress and world trade. Justice Sykes pointed out that within these countries, the time standard in which cases are cleared is 6 months. Jamaicans are being urged to re-examine how older Jamaicans are valued and honored. The charge from Minister with Responsibility for Social Security, Pernell Charles Jr., comes as the nation observes Senior Citizens Month. It's being observed under the theme Embracing Wisdom, Uniting Generations, and the National Council for Senior Citizens, NCSC, has planned several activities. Last week, September 24 to October 1, is is observed as Senior Citizens Week. The activities will be in commemoration of World Alzheimer's Day on September 21, National Grandparents' Day on September 24, the National Senior Citizen Spelling Bee Competition on September 28, and International Day of Older Persons on October 1. They will also include an aging fair on October 5 and 2K Purple Run Walk on October 8. Mr. Charles Jr. said the activities aim to meet the challenges of a growing, healthier, and more active senior citizen population and facilitate continued participation in their families and society. He was speaking at the National Church service commemorating Senior Citizens Month held yesterday at the Power of Faith Ministries in Portmore, St. Catherine. He called on the public to be more inclusive and respectful towards elders.